I've attended to great presentation from pathologists trying to educate other pathologists in AI. And that was fantastic AI course, very technical, very mathematically, very technical. And I said, wow, the level is great. That's awesome. And I think now they all know, as you said, they have realistic expectations. What is good with AI as well is that they do have an active contribution to the design of the model. And they know that this is not something that is a data scientist hidden in the garage that will do something and just delivering back to the pathologist an algorithms. It's not like that. And they know this. There is a very close interaction, and this is the key, I think, to success.
Learn about the newest digital pathology trends in science and industry, meet the most interesting people in the niche, and gain insights relevant to your own projects. Here is where pathology meets computer science. You are listening to the Digital Pathology Podcast with your host, Dr. Alexandra Jurov.
Hello. Today, my guest is Sylvain Berlemont, the CEO and the founder of Keen-Eye. Hi, Sylvain. How are you?
Hi, Alexandra. How are you? Thanks for the invitation. Wonderful to chat with you.
Good. So tell our listeners about yourself, about your background, and then later about Keen-Eye.
Sure. My name is Sylvain Berlemont. I'm the founder and CEO of Keen-Eye. In terms of background, I've got a double background in both in science and technology. I first graduated from a French computer science schools, and then I made my PhD in biomedical image analysis at Institut Pasteur, also in Paris. And then from France, where I originally come from, I moved to the US for about 5 years. First in Scripps Research Institute in San Diego as a postdoctoral fellow. And then I moved to Harvard Med School in Boston.
And what kind of research did you do there?
Cell biology, essentially. We were in what we used to call the computational cell biology labs, where essentially you have half biologists and half mathematicians / computer scientists / physicians. And the overall is to develop AI and algorithms in order to make some basic research scientific questions moving forward.
And your degree in computer science, is it in computer vision? Or did you start being interested in computer vision on the way?
Oh, yeah, I think it's a fantastic research area. When I didn't finish yet my master degree, I was already interested in computer vision. And there was, at that time, a really two outcome for if you are interested in computer visions, either life science or military. And I was more towards life science.
Oh, really? I didn't know there was this kind of pathway. So what led you from that research positions in the US to found Keen-Eye?
Yeah, while I was still in Harvard, I made some connections with the industry in the US. The first company I made contact with was Fluidigm Corporation. It's a San Francisco-based company. They are doing some microfluidic device for the life sector. And they asked me for consultancy for some image platform to help them analyzing their single cell devices. And then when I moved back to France after my postdoc, I came up with another company asking me pretty much the same, but in a totally different application and so on. And then I said, why on earth I'm going to redo from scratch for every customer I have? And then I started to see patterns and turn a service company into a product company and then to a software as a service company. And this is what is Keen-Eye today.
Mm-hmm. So you basically had the work and clients before you even started the company.
Yeah, and that was really exciting.
So I'm curious about the name. Why Keen-Eye?
Yeah, that's obviously related to the core business of the company. Our business is to find insights in biomedical images, and sometimes insights that are very hard to find by eye or manually. This is like finding a needle in a haystack. And this is, I believe in the company, we have a keen eye for such thing.
A very memorable name. So are you also located in France? Where is your main location?
Yeah, so our headquarters is in Paris, France, and we are team spread a little bit across Europe. So we have people in UK, people in Germany, in Italy, but the majority of the people are in France. Remote, of course, for such for our times of lockdown, but yes, France.
Now everything is remote. So what is that you exactly do at KINAI? You said delivering insights from biomedical imaging, but how is it structured? How does it work? What's your platform?
Yeah, at KINAI, we are delivering AI tools for the life science industry. By AI tools, it means we are providing some algorithms and platforms in order to analyze better biomedical images. And so this is very large, as we do have image analysis everywhere in diagnostics, but also in the drug industry, where you want, for instance, to rely on imaging to quantify a biomarker. You are relying on image to better stratify patients or things along those lines. There is a ton of things to do in this activity, and we are providing tools in that area.
And it's tissue image analysis mainly. You say biomedical images, so practically you would be able to do everything. You do focus on pathology, right?
We can technically do everything, whether it's a bunch of pixels, it works, whether it's in cell culture, tissue, whole slide tissue, and so on and so forth. So technically, the platform is allowed to manage everything. But of course, we are focusing on tissue imaging because it represents a lot of challenges in the industry, but also for the patients.
You said it's software as a service. How does that work? How does it work with your clients?
So we have a software as a service platform, which means that you use that platform through your web-based web browser. So it's you open any browser you have on your basic PC, and you can manipulate gigapixels images and do some heavy computation on those images, just staying on your basic PC and just staying on your office or at your desk. So this is the software as a service part. We do provide the platform through different type of installations, whether it's on the cloud, our cloud, the cloud of our customers, or we can also do standalone installations on sites installation. But the user experience is the same. It's through a web browser.
Okay, so no need to have some special computer, some special hardware with the GPUs. It's on your end.
Exactly. And this is one of the things that is really associated with the product vision. I remember when I was a postdoc, I was manipulating, and my colleague biologists, they were manipulating some scientific software where actually you need to have a PhD to just have a look on the user manual because the interface is just crowded with buttons, parameters, and things like that. The way we think that the product is really to have an easy to use interface without forgetting about the power of the algorithm you can have through a very easy to use interface. And this is what steers the product vision of our platform.
Mm-hmm. So it's AI, it's deep learning probably. Do you do supervised deep learning with the customer's input as ground truth or annotations, or how does that work in this?
So it is deep learning. You're right, and we use any kind of techniques that is necessary to bring a solutions to our customers. So we can use transfer learning, we can use various different type of deep learning architectures. We can use strongly supervised machine learning, where we have annotation from the pathologist that outline tumors or fibrosis areas and so on and so forth. But we can also do those more popular techniques where we do weekly supervised machine learning, where we don't rely too much on the annotations of the pathologist. We just take the outcome, the patient outcome, for instance, a normal tissue, disease, not disease, something like that, on the global slide. And we let the machine find out what are in the image the region that contribute to the prediction.
Okay, so both strongly and weakly supervised. Okay, I guess you cover everything.
Yes.
So what is your mission with this? What do you want to achieve with your company?
Yeah, our mission is really to support the pharma industry by being able to accelerate the delivery of the right drug to the right patients through the use of image analysis. And as I said, the image analysis is everywhere along the path of a drug development, whether it is to quantify your biomarker or at the end of the late stage to select the right patients. And so what we provide is really this, is AI tools to accelerate the drug development. Drug development is, as it can take 10 years. Sometimes vaccine can take less than a year.
Hopefully.
Yes, hopefully. But on average, it's a very long and very hard process. And one of the ways to accelerate this process is to remove any type of bias you can have and bring more objectivity and bring more quantification results. And this is what image analysis is allowed to bring, is really to bring standardized, accurate, and reproducible results.
And during your journey, what was something that you wish you had known before, or something that was unexpected that you had to change your mind about or rethink or approach in a different way? And now it seems obvious, but at the time you wish you had known that.
Oh, a lot of different things. But if I have to take just one thing, is really focus. Focus is super, super important. At the beginning, I remember the beginning of the company, you jump on any opportunity you have. You have a lot of people that see your technology fantastic, that can enable a lot of things. And at the very beginning, you have a 2 or 3 people company. You just grab the business where it is. And so you take all the opportunities. But on the long run, it is really time consuming, and you really have to have a vision, a focus, and to really steer and operate the company to the right directions. So I wish I knew that from the very beginning. It would have maybe saved me 1 or 2 years.
But do you think you could have known that from the very beginning when you were just starting, or you have to go through that, like jumping on every opportunity, like you say, to figure out your own process? Sometimes people know exactly what they want to do, but sometimes it's just part of the process. So what's your thought about this?
I think it's a mixed. There is part of the process that you have to go through it. You have to go off the beaten path and have the try and error process to really find the right way to go. After that, and I cannot only speak for myself, this is my first company. So obviously, I guess for my 10th company, I may learn from experience.
Exactly where to go.
Exactly. But I think also every activity, every business, and especially every teammates you are working with, they are very specific and special. And one thing which is important, and I see that every day, is that you have to really listen to what you have in order to do the right things. Coming with too much certainties sometimes prevents you to see some opportunities that are existing.
Mm-hmm. You say it's your first company. When did you launch the company? And later, when did you launch the product, your software as a service?
Yeah, I set up the company in 2015. And then, so we were only 1 employee. Now we are about 50 people. And we start on research use only applications to launch the product in 2017. And then we start launching the product in 2019 for clinically grade applications that are used within clinical trials.
So who are your customers at the moment? Who do you provide your services to?
Yeah, so the majority of our customers comes from the pharma industry. So they are either small pharma, big pharma, or biotech. So all the questions they have is, okay, I've got my data, and I need to know whether that data makes sense in terms of, I don't know, the level of expression of a certain biomarker. I want to quantify that and not have a manual way to do that. So they come with that request. And so we develop, validate algorithms, and then run all the sample analysis for them. So usually our customers, they are pharma companies.
So are the questions customer driven, or the algorithms driven by the questions the customer have, or do you have also solutions that you can already offer?
Yeah, so that's a great question because and it also give a little bit of specificity from the company. It's a key differentiator, I believe, in KINAI. We don't believe in off-the-shelf product or off-the-shelf algorithms. In life science, it's a very complex and challenging landscape, and all the customers, they have their way to stain their slides. They all have their specificity. So it's very hard to say, okay, I've got my PDL1 expression algorithms and it works off the shelf and it works for every single slides on earth. That's not true. So if companies say that, claim that, I don't believe this is the right way. So at KINAI, what we do is we always provide custom solutions. By custom solution, it means that not only we provide an algorithms, but we also provide a way to state the performance of the algorithms against the data of the customers. So we always provide that. So we provide the algorithm and we say, yes, the specificity is around 95% and is 90% or something like that. But custom solution takes time to deliver. And here comes, I think, one of the specificity of KINAI is that we have developed an internal process to develop very fast algorithms. So it allows us to go from weeks or months of development and validation times to weeks or day or weeks. That really shrink the development times very fast. And this is due to, I think, two things: good process, pre-trained algorithms, and also I believe good team, the teammates. I have to cheer for them.
So one question, because you can do transfer learning with the nets that are developed on the natural images. Are there any pre-trained networks on pathology images already? Can you even do that? Is that an option?
Yeah, yes, we do transfer learning a lot. So to go from one questions to another with, of course, some retraining to really target specifically the new questions. But we rely massively on transfer learning. And actually, we succeed in going from one organ to another successfully. But we also find out that we could go from one therapeutic area to another. So for instance, we did have some experience in ophthalmology, and then we transfer some of our models that we built on ophthalmology into oncology. And so we speed up the development process by a large amount of time just by doing that.
So basically, the more models you develop, the bigger the pool is to draw from, to do transfer learning and to work even faster.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe that our pre-trained models right now, they know quite well what a tissue is, what a tumor is, because they rely on a lot of experience of training.
Mm-hmm. So why pathology? Why digital pathology? You mentioned a little bit that this is important, but why in particular? What was the thing that made you go into pathology? You could have done radiology, you could have done ophthalmology, which you did a little bit. Anything else? Why pathology?
I think pathology is a great field.
I totally agree.
It is a great thing. It's heavily related to one of the biggest, I would say, therapeutic area, which is oncology. And oncology is a highly complex, scientifically complex and challenging fields, which we would like all of us to have an impact on that. I think pathology really encloses technology challenge, a scientific challenge, and great hopes for patients. I think we choose pathology also because there is a lot to do. Radiology, it's a more mature market, I would say. If we talk about market, they all have consolidated image format and things like that since several years, several decades right now. And pathology is a little bit newer, although we are talking about digital pathology from a long time for now, but there is a lot to do, and there is also a lot to explore and discover, and this is what excites us.
How do you work with pathologists for development of your algorithms?
Yeah, so we do have in-house pathologists that help us to design models and to validate models. We also work in combination with other pathologists, outside pathologists, for instance, pathologists from our clients. So we do, for instance, multiple annotations, a pool of annotations from multiple pathologists in order to have consensus training. That's something we do a lot.
Okay, I think this is also important. It's rarely the case that you have access to so many pathologists that you can do consensus training. Usually it's one person or a...
Actually, I think to do consensus training, we all agree that this is, and I'm not a pathologist by training, but I just quoting pathologists, they do acknowledge the fact that pathologists' visual expertise is very subjective, can be very subjective, and they would love collectively to be able to go more towards standardizations and reproducibility. This is something that I think they all want that. I think there is really two ways you can achieve that. The first thing is obviously to get access to pathologists that are specialized in the right indications in lung, in breast cancer, and other disease. But also it's also a technological challenge, because you know that the pathologists you may need for certain scientific questions, they are not on the same room. They are not close to you or in the same office. They are scattered many in your country, in different countries, etc., etc. So you have to have a SaaS platform. This is mandatory in order to be able to reach out to those pathologists so that they can easily annotate, give their own expertise that you can take and transfer into an algorithm.
I think this is so important, and it would help us so much if we had more standardization. Like you say, it is pretty subjective, and I experience it every time I try to figure out an annotation strategy for an image analysis project. First, you figure out, okay, what are the classes you want to annotate? And then if you want to have more people annotating, you have to convey to them what you want to have annotated. And sometimes they're more experts than you in the field and they disagree. So it is important to agree. And it would be great if we had standardized guidelines that you could just send out and say, this is what we're annotating for this particular project, for this particular problem. Because the number of problems is so vast, I don't think it's possible in the nearest future, but at least for the common things. And I think that would be a good development, and that's what I strive for when I develop annotation trainings.
Yeah, and I think having consensus training does not mean you lower down everything or you average everything or you kill specificity of each pathologist. This is, I think it would be wrong to go in that directions. But with AI and with especially deep learning, you can integrate that specificity, that variability into a model that will try to take into account this large variability and this disagreement rate. We still want to see disagreement as a value. This is what will allow us to train and teach the algorithms the right way.
How do you innovate? It's a funny question in this context because this whole discipline is innovative. But yes, we're just at the beginning of this AI for pathology. So how do you look for the next best thing? How do you try them out, and how do you invite innovation into the company?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. That's a routine question or daily asked question, I would say. Everyone at Kina is trying to answer these questions on a daily basis. I think at Kina, we do see innovation as a mixed. Innovation is not only technical. Obviously, technology is great and AI, et cetera, but it's also organizational. If you are only bringing in algorithms, it does not make a product. So there is a huge gap between having an algorithm, having an AI model, and having the right product that will be used on a daily basis. There is a gap, and at Kina, we're trying to fill that gap, meaning that we develop AI model, but we also develop the tool that will be able to host these algorithms so that it will be massively used through pathology labs.
What is your thought on computer scientists and pathologists' interactions and collaboration? How was it at the beginning when you started, and how is it now? Was there some kind of evolution, and how was this for you?
Yeah, actually, I'm surprised how fast the mindset of both computer data scientists and pathologists changed over the course of the last years. It's really I'm positively struck because I think now it's a consensus that, at least for the majority of the pathologists, they acknowledge the capability of AI that could get brought to the community. There was a famous quote about AI will not replace pathologists, but pathologists who do not use AI will be replaced by those who are, something like that. But that's, of course, completely true. And I do see now a lot of pathologists from hospitals that desire to really be engaged into AI projects. There is a movement now that pathologists or hospitals are coming towards companies such as us to really be able to work on new technologies and new ways to get better to get a more accurate diagnosis, or to just be able to see something that was impossible to see before.
I'm super happy to hear that. When I started in this digital pathology image analysis field, I felt the gap a lot, and this is why I started the blog. And one thing that I noticed then, this notion of over promising and under delivering with AI, and the pathologists who were hoping for so much, and they had a reality check, and then they would withdraw themselves from the whole field saying, it's not worth it anyway. Now I think there's not so much of that. People on both ends have more realistic expectations. They did accept that it's still narrow AI. You have to narrow down your problems and focus on one specific thing. It's not going to solve everything, and for every problem you probably have to develop a new solution, at least at the moment. So I'm happy to see that you're experiencing this as well.
Yeah, and I think the last couple of years, both ends just learn from the others. I think I've attended to great presentation from pathologists trying to educate other pathologists in AI, and that was fantastic AI course, very technical, very mathematically, very technical. And I said, wow, the level is great. That's awesome. And I think now they all know, as you said, they have realistic expectations. What is good with AI as well is that they do have an active contribution to the design of the model. And they know that this is not something that is a data scientist hidden in the garage that will do something and just delivering back to the pathologist an algorithms. It's not like that. And they know this. There is a very close interaction. And this is the key, I think, to success. Close interactions from the visual expertise of a pathologist with the unknowns that they are surrounded with, and the data scientists that will be able to deliver quality models.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, this is an advantage of AI for pathologists, that they can actively participate. Before, as I experienced it as well, there was, with the classical image analysis, classical computer vision with the feature definition, the pathologists, like you say, would need a PhD in computer science to even operate the software. Now they give examples, and I think this also closed the gap tremendously. And they can see the performance visually. Before, as I experienced it, it was a couple of screenshots to show, it is possible to do that, but you were rarely able to review the whole slide. Now it's standard. If you don't show the performance on the whole slide, the pathologist or whoever is doing the project is not going to trust. And neither will they trust if they don't see the performance metrics. Like you said, you deliver performance metrics. I think it's a crucial component of algorithm development. It's never going to be 100% accurate, sensitive, and specific. And you have to know if you're willing to compromise on one of these parameters, or any other parameter. You can choose, I don't know, whatever performance metric is appropriate for a project. I think this is a big differentiator as well. But it's not going to be a differentiator for long, because people will not accept if they will not have this delivered. So you're definitely in the forefront, but the others will have to follow as well. Is there anything else that you would like to tell our listeners?
I think we cover a lot of things. Thank you very much. It was fun, and I think it was thorough. Thank you very much.
Before we go, let the listeners know where they can find you online.
Yes, so it's www.kinai.ai. This is our website, and they can find all the information about the company.
I will definitely include it in the show notes. And thank you very much, and have a great day.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. For more great digital pathology resources, visit the Digital Pathology Consulting website and subscribe to our newsletter on digitalpathologyconsulting.com. After subscribing, you will get access to the free digital pathology crash course, which will help you start working on your digital pathology projects immediately. Talk to you in the next episode.